Two of the world's biggest clubs go head-to-head this evening in Kansas. It is Bayern Munich who step out now against AC Milan. Many European Cups between the two clubs. It doesn't get much bigger than this in terms of stature of club. Bayern are the favourites for this one. Hard to look past a team that has won the German Bundesliga so many seasons in a row. But AC Milan are a sleeping giant. While it's a cliche, the facts speak for themselves. No Serie A success since 2011. No Champions League football in 6 seasons. They're looking to fight their way back amongst Europe's very elite in 2019-20. And this will be a good test for them today. Milan finished 5th in Serie A last season, missing out on Champions League football by a single point. It led to the departure of head coach Gennaro Gattuso after roughly 18 months in charge. Marco Giampaolo's come in, and Milan fans perhaps can get excited about this new era. This is the home of Sporting Kansas City FC. MLS, of course, in full swing right now, but it's all about the International Champions Cup 2019 here today. And the Rossoneri in their famous red and black stripes. Bayern are slightly ahead of Milan in terms of their pre-season preparations. So Gianluigi Donnarumma may be a bit busier than he's hoping between the posts for the Italian club. But let's have a look at the two lineups here now. Starting with Bayern. 6 changes from the Real Madrid winners. Lewandowski, Gnabry, Zula, Pavard and Goretzka come in, as does Alphonso Davies. We're told the winger could be starting at left back. Bayern are in good shape, although new defender Lucas Hernandez is out with a knee injury still and misses the chance to face his brother Theo Hernandez of Milan. Remember, the likes of Arjen Robben, Frank Ribery and Mats Hummels have all left this summer too. For Milan, meanwhile, well, the son of Paolo Maldini, Daniel Maldini, starts for them in the number 10 role. He's an attacking midfielder. What an opportunity for the 17-year-old today. 4-3-1-2 is the new system under the new head coach. Piontek, the revelation in Serie A last season, is part of a front two we would actually expect, while Theo Hernandez, in from Real Madrid, starts at left back. Milan are without Franck Kessié, Diego Laxalta and Lucas Paquetá, who are all involved with African Cup of Nations or Copa America football this summer. And taking charge of this one, Alan Chapman, a referee who comes from Utah, an MLS official. Thomas Muller will be looking to catch the eye today. And Kingsley Coman will be operating down the left-hand side. All eyes on that man, Maldini. Let's see if he is the latest member of the Maldini family to make a name for himself in red and black. Looks like we're ready to get going. Bayern with 1 defeat and 1 win since arriving in the United States to play in the International Champions Cup. Our referee, by the way, is taking charge of MLS All-Star games as well. So we're underway in Kansas City. Great game in store. Bayern Munich take on AC Milan. The likes of Robert Lewandowski, Thomas Muller, Piontek all start here alongside me, Rob Daly. There's a former Ireland defender, Gary Breen. Gary, Bayern in terms of fitness and sharpness should be ahead of Milan here.
Yeah, I believe they're about 10 days ahead of them. The very fact this is their third game in a short space of time will bode well for them. Important at AC Milan, new managers come in, there's a lot of young players here. It's a massive season for AC Milan, bearing in mind that they don't have any European obligations now because they're not competing in the Europa League. They can focus really on getting themselves back where they believe they belong, and that's challenging at the top of Serie A.
Well, starting at left back is Alphonso Davies, the Canadian winger, and we just saw an example of his pace. It looks like he is doing a makeshift job at left back. On by Leon Goretzka. On to Thomas Muller, two in the middle here as it's swept in near post, and it is gathered by Donnarumma. Clipped onto the leg of Thomas Muller. Here is Niko Kovac, who's embarking on his second season as Bayern head coach after arriving from Eintracht Frankfurt.
We talked about the importance of AC Milan in terms of a good start, but even Kovac in his second season will be aware that he needs to develop this squad, make sure that he's got enough depth there that they don't go through the similar problems that they had in a difficult period between September and November, where only 2 wins out of 8.
On by Goretzka, Thomas Muller, Kimmich, lots of runners here for Bayern, and Donnarumma has turned that away at the near post.
Read that situation really well, the goalkeeper. He's got to protect that near post and the threat of anyone shooting inside, but read it and made himself big.
He's back in again, Biglia gets it away, not properly cleared by Borini, and here's Kingsley Coman. Coman driving for the penalty area, good ball, and Muller can't quite sort that out. By the way, it would appear here, as we get a quick look at Marco Giampaolo, the new head coach of AC Milan, that there's a change up front. Lewandowski was on the team sheet, we hadn't heard anything, but the youngster Fiete Arp, wearing number 15, the striker signed from Hamburg in the summer, chasing the ball down here. It looks like he's actually started the game, Gary. And what an opportunity for him.
Absolutely. We saw him play in those wider areas against Arsenal, but it's through the middle that he really wants to play. And you're quite right to suggest that they've got a lot of faith in this young man. He gets the opportunity to lead the line and show his capabilities.
He's been playing sort of wide position so far at this tournament, but up front is his preferred position. Davis, a little bit loose with that pass. Goretzka did enough to win it fairly in the eyes of the referee as Joshua Kimmich moves forward. Muller's lost it. And this is some run here from Theo Hernandez, the new signing, who's still going. Brilliant effort. Parried away by Manuel Neuer. Well, the left-back did that all by himself and nearly scored for Milan. Driven in effort, just over the bar as well from Biglia. Good spell for the Rossoneri.
Brilliant. The tempo set straight away. You talked about there Hernandez at left back. The AC Milan hierarchy have been absolutely delighted with him, bearing in mind his fitness levels. They're saying that he's at a stage now where he can really compete to be one of the best left backs in Europe, so they've got a lot of faith in that young man. And that driving run forward is impressive, yes, but initially how tenacious he was in forcing the turnover and driving his team up the field.
Swept out by Corentin Tolisso, who's playing the sort of holding role today. Just to clarify the Bayern 11 then with that change, Neuer in goal, Kimmich, Zula, Pavard, Davis the back four, Davis in possession here at left back, Goretzka, Tolisso and Sanchez in the middle. It's Muller, Arp and Coman, the front three, and Coman is out on the left, Muller the right, and Arp through the middle.
Just looking at the challenge ahead for this AC Milan team, and I'm looking at that defence, and it's a young defence. Only Strinic at 32 is a real experience. I know Donnarumma's only 20, Calabria 22, Theo Hernandez 21, Gabbia 19. So it's in stark contrast with what you remember about the iconic AC Milan teams, the Maldinis, the Bareses, who were playing until their mid-30s. They've had to adopt the youth.
Sanchez breaking forward here. Good ball. Coman, could he get it out of his feet? That was really well defended. Back out here to Goretzka. On by Kimmich. Kingsley Coman's very difficult to stop in a one-on-one situation. Calabria did well there.
You just felt that he should have took the pass across his body and got his strike on, done a wide check back, allowed the full-back to recover.
Kimmich. Muller in towards Harp. He's still on side here as he tried to ding that into the path of Goretzka. Well, we're seeing Muller in a wide position. Of course, he has done that a lot for Bayern down the years, but he's probably better as a second striker. It highlights the fact that Bayern are in the market for further wide players ahead of the new season.
We've been hearing that all summer, aren't we, in terms of having to replace iconic players like Ribéry and Robben. That's no easy task. Obviously, they identified and had done from the back end of last year. Hudson-Odoi at Chelsea obviously got that bad Achilles injury. But in that time where he's been injured and the fact that Frank Lampard's come in now it looks like Hudson-Odoi has signed a new 5-year deal, so that's dead in the water for Bayern. They've identified Sane at Manchester City, and Pep Guardiola is adamant they want him to stay, so that hasn't been a good avenue for them. So they're always looking. So it's up to these guys now who do have the opportunity to make their manager think, well, listen, we don't need to go out, we don't need to rush. We've got players within our squad right now who are capable of leading the charge for next season.
Speaking of opportunities, Daniel Maldini with that slightly heavy touch there, the player from the academy, son of Paolo, of course, who has a new position at the football club in terms of helping with the acquisition of new players. Third generation Maldini. Clipped in by Kimmich here, and Muller with the header couldn't generate the power to really trouble Gianluigi Donnarumma.
Not identified quite often. He plays anywhere in that second line of attack, but whenever he is in there, as soon as that ball goes in the box, he looks to attack it. Such a danger, such a brilliant goal scorer over the years.
Out by Donnarumma. This is the moment where we remind you that if it finishes level after 90 minutes, there will be a penalty shootout. Driving front run forward there from Theo Hernandez, who's looked lively at left back early on.
Looks strong, looks powerful. He's desperate to really show his qualities. The frustrations obviously coming from Real Madrid. They've just brought Mendy in. So he's had to come to AC Milan and show what a good player he is. And I have to say, we're only a couple of 10 minutes into this game and he's looked impressive already.
Shame he can't face his brother Lucas Hernandez, who's just signed for Bayern, who's arrived in Munich with a knee injury. He's going to stay in here for Coman, and he'll try and cause Calabria problems. Was he caught there? Not in the eyes of the referee. He says play on. Coman adamant that that should have been a Bayern penalty.
Just in the setup of that AC Milan team, they need to get support out to the fullback. He can't be faced up against Coman in those situations. It's too difficult to stop. There's the check here. It's difficult to see there. He's convinced he's...
Well, it's a loose pass, and Thomas Muller and Leon Goretzka were on hand to pounce. Goretzka's kept going here on Donnarumma. Calabria. And then a foul by Coman.
Coman's just got to be careful. He's letting his frustration get the better of him. He's gesturing to the referee that should have been a penalty. So dangerous as a fullback squaring him up 1v1, especially as he starts attacking in the penalty box. Everything changes. Timing of the tackle has to be perfect, and he's convinced it wasn't.
We left Matteo Gabbia, 19-year-old who's impressed at under 20 level for the Italian national team. Here is Maldini. Back in with Strinic. Off by Barini. Bigler clips it, but it'll be taking something special from Samu Castillejo, the Spaniard, to get on the end of that. He's playing in a front two, really a winger. But there's no real place for wingers in this system. Quite a narrow midfield, and his pace up front, I think that's what they're going for.
Yeah, looks like it's a diamond in midfield, isn't it, with, as you rightly said, Maldini at the point of it, and number 10. It's important he gets on the ball as much as possible to try and get that early confidence. You're bound to be nervous as a young player.
Great ball, Davis, Coman. And he tried to slip that in towards up. Good link-up play between those two on the left.
Good defending by young Gabbia at centre-half. Recognised that, had to cover his full-back, got caught ahead of play. Coman's looking to cross it rather than shoot. Good recovery defending though.
Do have an aerial threat about them here, Bayern. Nicolas Zula forward from centre-back. It'll be one to watching. No player got more assists for Bayern last season than Joshua Kimmich. 19 assists from right-back last season. We'll sweep this one in. Now he goes short, in fact, to Renato Sanchez. Coman, no angle to shoot. Zula and by Goretzka. And Milan eventually get it away.
That is an incredible stat for Kimmich. Bearing in mind, he's not like the modern day fullback, is he? Which is ultimately a converted winger. He is an out-and-out defender, can quite comfortably play centre-half, has played a lot holding centre midfield, but just shows his quality. Especially when he gets into that final third, that he has that type of ability to pick people out.
You're spot on there. He's not really like a Danny Alves or a Carl Walker type right back, is he?
No, and you think of all modern day fullbacks now, they're essentially wingers, really. You know, centre halves, that role's changed. You have to deal with those wide areas and being pulled out there. And more often than not, the fullback's your most advanced player.
Talisa with a little kick out of Maldini for the free kick. Certainly having to adjust to the pace of the game here, Daniel Maldini, as there's a foul by Young, feet are up.
It's always something I admired, not at the time, a bit begrudgingly, but certainly you learn as a player when you're playing against Italian players, is that as soon as they feel that contact, they're going down to buy themselves a free kick. They're brilliant at it.
Castillejo can't Alphonso Davies' pace is absurd, and even if he gets in a bit of bother at left back, he's not a natural there. He can sort it out.
Well, there's the stark contrast then, isn't it, from left back, an attacking player like him, in comparison to Kimmich at right back, who is a defender.
Goes back to Benjamin Pavard, new signing from Stuttgart, World Cup winner, of course, scored arguably the goal of the World Cup in 2018, fought by Renato Sanchez, on by Goretzka. 3 inside the penalty area here for Kimmich, who's got away from Hernandez, and the flick on nearly ran through to Coman, put behind by Calabria. AC
Milan are struggling at this stage. Just the setup is allowing Bayern Munich too easy to get into those wide positions. They've been done it on the right side, the left-hand side. It's because that diamond midfield is so narrow that they can comfortably get into those wide positions unopposed.
Will be left by Coman. Keep an eye on Zula here. Swept in dangerously towards Thomas Muller. Davis. Tidy zip pass into Arp, but he was surrounded by Milan players.
We know he's a goal scorer, Arp, but he has to be better in terms of his hold-up play there. That ball has to stick, bearing in mind the quality that Bayern having that second line of attack. They'll be in and around him as soon as he looks after that ball.
Strinic being put under pressure. Will be a Bayern throw-in.
They're pressing well, Bayern, aren't they? Not allowing AC Milan the opportunity to get their head up, turn, make passes. They've got to have pictures in their head prior to the ball coming.
Worked out towards Coman. Tries to muscle his way through Maldini. Tolisso. Beautifully weighted out to Kimmich. Tolisso again. Coman. Davis available to him. Takes on his man. Çalhanoğlu just about deals with him.
You just feel that Calabria at right back for AC Milan, bearing in mind they're playing a diamond, he's not going to have much protection in front of him. He's got Kingsley Coman coming at him, and he's also got the full-back attacking him as well, so he really needs to get some information into that diamond to say they get out, close that avenue as quick as they possibly can.
There were reports in the Munich-based press. It was beautifully pinged out to Muller here. It's left to him. Tolisso. And now Davis again. Sanchez. There's real purpose about the way Davis is passing the ball around to his Bayern teammates. Now Coman will put pressure on the Calabria here as he tries to clear the ball.
Bayern are so expansive in possession of the ball, as we said, full-backs, high and advanced areas, really use the full width of the pitch. But what's impressive that as soon as they do lose that ball, how quickly they look to press initially. If they can't get that, then they drop into good defensive shape as we're seeing now, and literally say to the opposition, okay, try and play for us.
Marini. And towards Piontek, who's barely seen the ball so far. Milan had that double chance early in the game after a great run forward by Theo Hernandez, but since then it's been all Bayern. And here is Davis. There were reports in Munich, I was about to say earlier, a few weeks ago, that they were planning on trying to convert him into a left back for the new season, and he has played there for Canada.
In terms of the coaching, that's important to give him pictures so he understands positionally where he's supposed to be. But ultimately, he's going to be playing with someone like Alaba who can help him develop his game.
So Sanchez tried to feed that back in. Castillejo. Renato Sanchez. One of those who's been much talked about really since he really announced himself on the scene at Euro 2016 with Portugal. It's up towards Piontek. Niko Kovac says Sanchez is not leaving Bayern.
Well, that you would hope would be a massive boost to him in terms of confidence, which must be so low at one stage, bearing in mind he goes to the Premier League with Swansea and it just does not happen for him. In fact, he looked completely out of his depth. And this is a player, as you quite rightly said, was one of the hottest prospects in Europe. coming out of the Euros.
Strunic.
Until those transfer windows close, it's very difficult to work out what will be the makeup of all these squads. You just feel there's one deal that's going to trigger on so many other deals, the knock-on effect. And as we approach that deadline day, you feel that there'll be a lot of business done from then.
Big names being talked about this transfer window: Pogba, Neymar, Gareth Bale, who scored for Real Madrid today off the bench. Just don't know when one of these huge deals is going to actually get done.
A lot of talk about Gareth Bale, and that Bayern are probably only one of the few clubs he could go to, bearing in mind he'll still want to be challenging. And that's a path that Bayern Munich and Real Madrid have gone down already over the last couple of seasons with James Rodriguez. Surplus requirements at Real Madrid, got a lifeline at Bayern Munich, but it's difficult to see whether or not that's likely to happen again.
Just well took that forward into Castillejo. Is that free kick against Pavard? Not given. Maldini has given it away. Still trying to find his way into the game, Daniel Maldini. He played Suso in that role the other day in a friendly against Navarra. Suso, the former Liverpool player, on the bench today for Milan. Theo Hernandez. Chance here. Piontek, who is very much like Lewandowski in many respects, not afraid to shoot in that situation. Teammates arriving here and flicked over the bar, and Maldini nearly scores for AC Milan. Great opportunity for the teenager.
Playing in that advanced midfield role, that's exactly where you would hope he would be. The cross comes back, he's looking up at the screen to see the replay, but he'll know he's leaning back there, should be hitting the target. It's great play initially. Initially you think that opportunity's gone, he's checked back in here, now he's got the awareness to pick someone out. And he's just leaning back all the time. Neuer's, that's on target, Neuer's struggling.
Really loving the work of Theo Hernandez, by the way, in that left-back position for Milan.
He's been impressive going forward, and just as impressive defensively. And AC Milan talked about how much work he's done in the off-season to make sure that when he comes here, he's firing on all cylinders. He certainly has been in this opening period of this game.
Has to be sharp here as Kimmich squares up to him. Tolisso, World Cup winner, on to Davis. Coman, Tolisso again. He's actually playing the Thiago role really today, because Thiago's been converted into more deep lying central midfield player. Was often used as a 10 by Carlo Ancelotti during his time as Bayern head coach.
It's something we're seeing more and more of these playmakers getting on the ball deep, controlling the game from there.
Goretzka up. Was he fouled there by Strunic? Once again, the referee says no. They were shoulder to shoulder. I think the centre-back was just stronger.
A lovely pass by Goretzka, though, isn't it? Just down the sides of the centre half. Good job, Strunic has read that situation. Can just lean into his opponent at the last minute to take the ball clear.
Muller, Kimmich working the 1-2. Renato Sanchez will wait for the ball to arrive at his feet. How advanced Bayern here. Pavard picking up the ball essentially in the middle of midfield. And it's in towards Arp, it's in towards Coman, but no one can get a touch on it.
What a brilliant delivery. The worry is Arp took a blow to his foot by the recovering defender. Looks like he's struggling. They'll have to keep the ball out here because I don't think he's going to be getting up very soon.
Yeah, Coman points to Davis to signal that should be put out of play. What a fantastic tempting ball into the middle.
Just Seen a replay now, you worry whether or not Art just catches his studs in the ground and then feels the weight of the recovering, challenging defender just down the shin. You hope it is just a contact on the shin and he hasn't gapped his ankle or anything like that. If it is a blow to the shin, you expect him to run that off. Just seen a repeat of this brilliant work again by Teo. And Maldini does everything right in terms of letting the body roll across his body. Opens it up with that right foot side, but just leans back at the last moment to see the ball go over the crossbar.
Well, he's a goal-scoring midfielder. He got himself in the position, wearing number 98. But could not convert for Milan. Still goalless here past the 25-minute mark.
Everything positive for AC Milan has been from Teo Hernandez on that left-hand side. That's a left-back. We talked about the modern-day guys. He's been brilliant.
Up, offside. That looked close to me. No one was tightly marking up there through the middle. Well, there are going to be questions about whether he is good enough for Bayern, and he's young, of course. Beat it up. Just 19 years of age, but didn't exactly set Bundesliga 2 alight. The second tier in Germany last season, with 2 goals in 20 games at Hamburg. It was really the season before, when he was in the Bundesliga, before their relegation, where he caught the eye. But he'll be learning from the very best.
Absolutely, and I think what Bayern Munich are so good at is they're identifying his potential more than anything else and where it could fit in at their club. So difficult, of course it is, but he'll be given the opportunity. But like anyone at Bayern Munich, regardless of your age, if you're given the opportunity, you have to take it. This is a club that expects nothing other than winning, and that's what you've got to deal with it week in, week out. You've got to be good enough to deliver that.
Loose one from Zula, unlike him. Calabria, Çalhanoğlu, who has underwhelmed somewhat since his arrival from Bayer Leverkusen. It's a lovely little touch through the middle. Maldini there in possession, nearly creating a chance. There's still problems here as Piontek tries to get something on target, and it looks like Milan have got themselves the corner.
Well, the setup of this system under the new manager is to try and get the advanced midfielder on the ball. Maldini does it brilliantly there, just finding space between the 2 units of Bayern Munich's midfield and defence. Then looks for that slip pass.
Çalhanoğlu, regardless of his form, normally has an excellent set-piece delivery on him. Real whip on that into the middle. Maldini challenging, back by Lucas Billiard. Piontek, I really want him in the middle, but we'll get the chance to get there now because it's another corner.
That's a little example of the work Davies needs to do in terms of learning his position. The ball's played, he stands still, doesn't realise that ultimately at left back he's the last line on that left-hand side, so he has to stay with runners. To show his recovery pace to block the cross.
Çalhanoğlu again. Well dealt with by Hishmin Pavard. Barini no way past Thomas Muller.
Bayern have got real physical presence on them set pieces. It's going to be difficult. I know AC Milan are trying to outswing us. They might want to mix it up a little bit, play it short, try and move that unit out of their position. As you quite rightly said, Sewell at 6'5", Pavard all attack the ball. Thomas Muller comes back to help out as well, so I'm not sure if they're going to get any joy AC Milan by just putting it in the box.
Up, tries to lay into the path of Goretzka. Tidy feet has got Milan forward here. Castillejo, Davis very sharp in to win the ball off him. Coman. But he was caught there by Calabria. I think there may have been a case for that actually. He tried to play on, They had no discernible advantage.
But if there's no advantage, that's when you need the referee to pull it back then. Coman's done exactly what you want him to do. Stay on your feet, fight to stay on your feet. He's done just that. He has been impeded. And yet the referee hasn't pulled it back.
Gabbia back to Donnarumma. Maldini. So you were talking about Gary getting him in possession. Piontek. No real angle to work it. Çalhanoğlu. Calabria has to get forward here, and the right back's had a good first touch. Oh, and he nearly finds a teammate in the middle. Still going here with Barini, and gathered by Neuer. Well, they are quite narrow when they're attacking Milan. It's all through the middle, but the fullback there able to get forward and help out.
Well, his teammates are all having a go at him, but look where he's put that ball. Just attack that 6 yard. It's a tap-in. Bayern Munich have crowded out that cutback. That's a brilliant ball in the box. That's literally saying to a teammate, just go and tap it in from 2-3 yards.
I'm with you on that one. They're all giving him grief. I think he did the right thing. Davide Calabria, who actually came through the academy at AC Milan, expected to sign a new contract, and he's had more game time than he perhaps expected after that injury. The injuries to Andrea Conti, who would have been the first choice right back for many years to come, Milan thought, prior to his knee injuries. Bit of fortune has taken this out to Kingsley Coman. Laid in by the French international. Renato Sanchez in possession now. Kimmich. Sanchez, they're trying to stretch Milan again.
So narrow, Milan.
Coman. Sanchez. Will belt it, and with good reason. It opened up there for Renato Sanchez, and he hit it very cleanly indeed.
Donnarumma in goal's not happy with his teammates. They've got enough men in around. Look at them standing and allowing you to step in and get the strike on it. It's a great strike. Just looking to cut across at the last moment, hoping it would just steer inside that near post.
Was heavily linked with the move to Milan last summer. Renato Sanchez. What do you make to this Milan system from what you've seen so far? 33 minutes in, Gary Breen.
You can see they're playing a narrow midfield, that diamond. They're trying to stop Bayern Munich getting control of the middle of the park, and it's a great because you can overload that midfield. The only problem with that shape is it's so easy to switch play. And if you think about the stats you said about Kimmich, he's from right back. He's going to be coming from deep with no one engaging him. He's going to be getting in those advanced areas, and he's a real danger. Likewise then on the left-hand side, if Coman goes narrow, then all that space is there for Davies to step in unopposed again. And he's a winger by trade, so he'll be comfortable as well there. So, yes, they may be dominating or stopping Bayern Munich dictating from central midfield, but they find it so easy to switch play.
Pace from Davies again, sets away Coman. Davies is with him, and he's beyond his marker, and he'll get to the byline. Blocked by Gabbia. Milan recover. Shame about the end product, really.
Davies took some great positions when those balls have gone wide. As soon as it happens, he looks to get to that near post, and he works from there. Opens his body up, looks for any deep runners coming, looking for centre forwards trying to run across the front post, but more often than not, he's blocking it at the near post himself and clearing the danger.
Çalhanoğlu. Gabbia. Barini tries to force that through the middle. And then that 3-1 win over Real Madrid the other day. Tolisso, Lewandowski and Gnabry scored. Rodrigo, the new signing for Real Madrid, pulled one back late on after Sven Ulreich was sent off, bringing him down through on goal. Prior to that, they were beaten 2-1 by Arsenal, that late goal from Eddie Nketiah. Coman, Goretzka. Soft free kick to give away there by Maldini, tracking back on Renato Sanchez.
It's great that he's putting a defensive shift in just to help out. For a young player, you've got to learn it very quickly. You cannot give away cheap free kicks at this level. The opposition have players who are more than capable of testing the keeper from this range.
Well, Lewandowski likes those ones close to the penalty area. He's not on the pitch. David Alaba likes them a bit further out. He's not on the pitch, so we'll see who does step up for this one for Bayern Munich. Trying to get word on exactly the situation as well with Lewandowski, who was named in the starting 11 initially. Leon Goretzka, it's some of the training ground. Muller lays it off, and Kimmich was there to strike it, and they may have burned through a routine in pre-season.
Initial dink over the wall was beautifully executed. Muller maybe was hoping it might have been able to get that touch in front of him, couldn't look for support. AC Milan just crowded it out in the end.
Coman to the byline and dealt with by Calabria, who's had a tough evening so far.
Yeah, he's had to put a real shift in, but he stuck to his task. Initially looked like the winger's got the better of him, but he keeps recovering just to get a toe in.
Kimmich, he goes short with it, Bayern. Renato Sanchez floated in towards Zula, who attacked the ball well and got in front of Villier and Strinic.
Such a big man, isn't he?
By the way, no Serge Gnabry and Javi Martinez available. Both are out with muscle injury problems, you heard in the hour before kickoff.
That's what you hope with Lewandowski. It's just a precaution that he may have felt something in the warm-up, and they just said, well, listen, we won't risk it. What's the point?
Back by Perini. Shut down well by Tolisso. Çalhanoğlu. Pinged out to Theo Hernandez.
This is what AC Milan need, periods of possession, but they've been robbed again.
Muller out to Goretzka. Up, Kimmich, Davis, available to Coman now. Here is Davis. Corner again, Bayern racking these up in the first half.
Just hope that understanding between those two guys on the left-hand side, Coman and Davis, gets a little bit better. The timing of the run, it should really take Calabria out of the game. It doesn't, just allows him to recover and block that cross.
Kimmich swings it in, and it was met at the near post by Muller, who gives him the thumbs up for the well-directed delivery. And then there's a foul on Theo Hernandez, and it will be a free kick to Milan with just over 5 minutes of the first half to play.
AC Milan players are looking forward to that half-time whistle. They're a couple of games behind in their pre-season schedule to Bayern Munich, so they'll be finding it tougher initially.
Strinic. Good fair from Sanchez to me, but it will be Milan's ball anyway. But this is a side, on paper even, that looks way off the great Milan side of the past and even the previous decade.
Absolutely. I mean, they've got a lot to live up to, and that's been the problem over the last 4 or 5 seasons, have been able to get anywhere near that. And when you just look at this AC Milan team now, and to be honest, Serie A in general, the league seems to lack the athleticism of the Bundesliga, of the Premier League, and this is the difference, is that they're trying to play a possession base. We know the stereotype is they're so good defensively, and they are. They're difficult to play through, there's no doubt. But Bayern Munich seems to have more verve, more energy, and not just because of the fact that they're ahead of schedule in pre-season.
Borini up against Tolisso here. What running here from Theo Hernandez has charged Milan up the pitch, and then the effort skied over, I think, by Borini in the end.
Oh, this would be a massive worry if he gets injured, because we talked about the athleticism. He's the one guy for this Milan team who seems to have it in abundance. Oh, this is what he's done. In stretching for there, he's gapped his right ligaments. You hope that's a stinger and he'll recover soon, but the pain here, this could really be a bad injury. Oh, we wish it and hope that it isn't.
Marco Giampaolo reviewing the situation with his coaching staff currently. Well, his brother, Lucas Hernandez, is currently out injured for Bayern after he completed a huge 90 million euro transfer from Atletico. And they're just trying to treat that ankle at the moment, but he looked very uncomfortable, Theo Hernandez, when he went to ground.
It's gone underneath him, his right ankle, just opening him up the outside of those ligaments, and hopefully it's just a painful one, but no damage done. See the physios now just working that area, just trying to see if any feelings coming back into it just yet. Even as the physio touches it, you can see him wincing in pain.
Well, I suppose you don't really risk it, do you, from here on in this game? Or
well, I think with a couple of minutes left, maybe just play with a 10, see how it recovers at half-time in a change room. If it does get that feeling back into it, then he can go on, no problem. But you're quite right to think there's no real reason to take any risk whatsoever, and it looks like we can see someone getting stripped down on the bench.
Yeah, Andrea Conti, who's
you'll know whether or not his weight
right back by trade.
You'll see whether he's weight bearing now, and he isn't. He doesn't want to commit to putting any weight through that right ankle.
It's a major surprise when he signed for Real Madrid from Atletico. They paid his buyout to take him to the Bernabeu. Could never force his way into the team, was loaned out to Real Sociedad last season. Milan probably did well to get him for a reported 20 million euros. Some questions about his attitude, which Marco Giampaolo was happy to address in front of the media the other day. But now for a man who's had his fair share of injury problems since arriving at Milan, he missed something like 16 months with an ACL injury, September 2017 to December 2018, and he replaces Theo Hernandez. We hope that's not too serious for Milan's new left back.
Well, we wish him every bit of luck here, and that he gets healthy soon. We hope it's not a major one. But as you quite rightly said, to see Conti coming back after such a difficult time of injury, you want to see him have a lengthy period where he stays healthy and shows what a good player he is.
Managed to get 15 appearances last season for Milan, and was such an exciting signing from Atalanta. So he will play at left back. Tolisso whipped it out towards his international teammate Coman. Sanchez. Coman. Davis has snuck round the back. Support from Milan. No one was tracking him. Is the end product there, Çalhanoğlu? Well, he does recover. He's on the right side of that midfield diamond and just stops that going into the middle.
It's a tough shift on the outside of that diamond. You obviously got to stay narrow to protect those balls played into strikers, to keep that compact midfield unit, but as soon as it is switched, you've got to do the hard yards out there, and he managed to do that.
Talk that he could be on his way out, Hakan Çalhanoğlu. Rumours of a return to Germany to play for RB Leipzig. He's back to help defend this corner, which is confidently punched away by Donnarumma. Tolisso. Free kick against him. Gary, your thoughts on the first half? It's been a bit of a scrappy one. Bayern have had more of the ball, but not done too much with it.
No, they haven't, and I think Kovac will be frustrated that they've got a system that will cause this AC Milan diamond a lot of problems. But as we've approached half-time, they've tried to force it through the midfield, where AC Milan have it quite congested and they've won the ball back. If they're more patient, there was loads of space for their fullbacks to get in them advanced areas and play from there, and you can imagine that they would create chances, but just decision making up to this point, which can be expected, still very early on in the pre-season phase. But there's no doubt both teams have a lot of improving to do in this second half.
Worked out by Neuer, who has been called into action by Theo Hernandez, who's gone off injured. Sanchez, Coman, Davis. Here he goes. That's really tidy play into Kingsley Coman, and Gabbia just about deals with him. See the way that Pavard steps out in possession wearing that number 5 shirt. I almost want to say Hummels, but he has the ball. Sanchez. Coman.
That's it. Switches of play. Really worked this AC Milan team.
What a ball from Kimmich for Leon Goretzka. Bayern, right on half-time, have taken the lead. A wonderful, stealthy run into the box from Goretzka. But credit to Kimmich for the assist. Bayern ahead at the break.
You highlighted the stats of Kimmich. Gets in those advanced positions at right back. No one closing him down. That's the problem of that diamond. But you have to say centre-half marking's poor. To have a run inside you, not open up your body, especially when someone like Muller is floating around, but Goretzka this time makes that run from deep, and the centre-halves of AC Milan just have not read it well enough. Brilliant pass, brilliant finish.
On the money from Kimmich, and Goretzka got 9 goals for Bayern last season, really came to the fore at the turn of the year, buried it with ease.
And it's the way that the German national team have discarded Muller is to bring Goretzka through, to play that role. And we can see his quality there, the way he's able to do that.
Final touches of the first half. It's been a first half the Bayern have largely dominated. They hadn't really fashioned too many clear-cut opportunities. And a change in goal. Sven Ulreich is on, the man who was sent off against Real Madrid the other day. And he's in for the second half. Was called up by Germany, in fact, in June. Thiago is also into the fray here as well. So some changes from Niko Kovac. Says hello to Hakan Çalhanoğlu, who he would have faced in the Bundesliga. So I guess that is for Thiago for Corentin Tolisso. Proper confirmation of the substitutes in a moment. Second half about to get underway. Guy on the PA system trying to get the atmosphere going ahead of kickoff. We're back up and running. Bayern lead AC Milan by a goal to nil, and we'll see if those differing fitness levels, because Bayern are really back into the fray already, will start to tell into the latter stages. They lead at the moment. Gary Breen, nice to see Thiago come in here. What does he offer Bayern?
Security, experience, reads the situation so well, was brilliant against Arsenal in terms of snuffing out danger. And what you see with these full-backs of Bayern Munich, they like to get in advanced areas. As a result, then centre-halves have to cover those full-back vacated positions, and what Thiago does is just drops back in there. And it's incredible, really, because he's not a defensive-minded player, but he's just such a good reader of the game.
Back to Gianluigi Donnarumma. We do say the full name because his brother is amongst the substitutes, Antonio Donnarumma. On by Conte. Calhanoglu, a little bit rushed in trying to work that out to Calabria, who does really well to retrieve it. Another change as well for Bayern, as one of their youth players is on here. Zula just doing well to hold off Piontek. Pavard. Forward playing that to Muller, and he's caught. So confirmation that Ivan Mihajlovic, wearing number 44, the centre-back, really tall guy, 6'3". He was picked up by Bayern a year ago. Has come into the side here, and it looks like he may well have replaced Kimmich, and I think Pavard might be at right back.
Now he's so used to seeing Pavard at right back, haven't we? He's comfortable in both positions.
Cut out by the youngster. Here is Thiago, confirmation of the 3 changes for Bayern at half-time. Conte. And he runs to Barini, tidied up by Goretzka. Goretzka, Bayern have turned it over. Goretzka trying to burst through the middle. Arp is onto it, and that was his opportunity. Well held by Donnarumma, but not the cleanest hit from Peter Arp.
His teammates are asking why he doesn't play the pass squared as an option, but when a ball breaks you on the edge of the box like that, your eyes are going to light up. What has been impressive, and we talked about Sanchez's confidence getting a boost by the fact that the manager says, no, he's staying here, we don't want him to leave. But he's looked full of energy, full of that physical presence that we were so used to when he broke onto the scene initially.
Looked like a foul on Barini, but Milan will play on here. Maldini. Well challenged by Mihajlovic. Coman wiped out by Calhanoglu, and he's not happy at all. Well, Alphonso Davies has done his teammate a huge favour there by stepping in, because Coman had lost it.
I think the reaction there is based on the fact that there's no attempt to play the ball. Ultimately, what he's done is made sure that Coman doesn't break forward. But in pre-season, you're always worried of getting an injury, and it's particularly clumsy.
Yellow card for Calhanoglu.
Looked like he just tried to bump him and stop him in his tracks rather than cut him in half. I didn't think it was anything particularly sinister.
Biglia, Barini, well read by Pavard. Coman on the turn. Sanchez opens up for him. That will be a free kick, surely. Wow. Well, I thought he was caught there as he was lining up the shot. And then Renato Sanchez is down, nothing given.
But he gets it out of his feet. He's just about to pull the trigger. And watch Barini just puts his foot in his path to stop the strike. That's a foul.
Thiago. Even from that kind of position, he ensures that Bayern stay in possession.
The referee's just got to be careful, you know. You can see the frustration of the players, and I understand what the referee's trying to do, trying to let the game flow, which you want to see. You want to see physical contact. He's just got to get the players on side and just say, listen, I understand what's happening around me. Just trust in my decisions.
Muller. Can a referee genuinely change the overall feeling of the game when things are getting pent up and frustrated and challenging stuff flying in?
Yeah, absolutely. He needs to nip it in the bud if he feels the players are trying to take things into their own. But it's difficult. I think both sets of players and managers want the game to flow, but it's just that fine line between what is an obvious foul and trying to let the game breathe.
Muller straight into the gloves of Donnarumma. Piontek flicks it on. He can't find Castillejo. Now Barini. Calabria. You can see how narrow Milan were there because there was no support ahead of Calabria. Now Peter Arp's trying to race through the middle. He might get through. Bit of skill, bit of fortune, couldn't quite get beyond that last man.
Another decision gone against the Munich players, to the frustrations of Müller. He felt he got a touch there, drew the contact, was looking for the referee to blow.
Altini led to run, Piontek on the turn. A revelation last season in Serie A after his rival, but he hasn't had too many opportunities so far this evening. So impressive in just a few months at Genoa that Milan forked out big money to bring him to the club in January. And it's a transfer that looks like it will pay off. He turned up and managed to get himself wearing the number 19 shirt. 11 goals in 21 appearances. He got 19 in 21 games for Genoa before leaving the club.
Interesting to see coming weeks in terms of what more business AC Milan do. Listen, we know they're under scrutiny in terms of financial fair play, but the very fact that they took that deal and stepped away from European competition as punishment, you do feel that if they concentrate solely on Serie A, that they can get themselves back into that elite level competition in Europe.
Niko Kovac certainly wants more players through the door of Bayern. Essentially said as much. The trouble there for Donnarumma under pressure from Bayern's press.
Talked about Kovac bringing the youth on this tour. 8 members of the youth team have come, travel with them, experience. This is what we talked about, the frustration now. Müller wearing the armband in the second half, shouldn't really be demonstrating in front of the linesman like that.
And he is offside, isn't he, Pavard? I mean, you see, I think Muller's just frustrated about the spell of decisions that were going against him and his teammates. Donnarumma. Barini. Marini. Tex dropped out wide here. Castillejo will give him the option. Goes central to Chalanolu. Calabria takes on Davis and gets something in there.
With Conte as a right footer playing left back, you expect Bayern Munich to show him down the line on his weaker left foot and not encourage him to pass into midfield where they've got an overload with that diamond anyway. So
Coman beautifully weighted out to Muller, and Pavard is available out on the right. Thiago. Sanchez. Trickery. The Portuguese international, Muller. Goretzka. He wants to win it back, Goretzka in fact. Three in the box, tries to get to the back post from the touchline.
So dangerous coming in this situation, goes for the gear so quickly.
Goretzka. Bayern are going to need consistency from Kingsley Coman with Robben and Ribery now departed. He can't be a potential player anymore. He has to step up.
Well, that's the challenge, isn't it? He would have been aware that Bayern have courted Hudson-Odoi from Chelsea, interested in Sane. Hasn't happened, and the reaction you want from him now is, well, listen, I'll show you. You don't want to see him sulking about the fact that they're looking elsewhere.
Ball had gone out. Milan trying to play out from the back. It must be the instruction from Marco Giampaolo, who got Sampdoria up to 9th last season in Serie A. But that's twice they've got themselves into a bit of bother. Thiago's corner. Deep it goes to Renato Sanchez, and Pavard was nearly onto it.
As is the case throughout world football, so many rumours in terms of potential signings. AC Milan are reported to have made an approach for Luka Modric. I mean, what a signing that would be. But Real, even at 33, still believe he's got a lot more to give them.
Wonder how much longer this guy is going to be an AC Milan player. Some fans really don't want to see Patrick Cutrone on his way out. The and who has made his senior international debut for Italy. He's on for Daniel Maldini, but of course has been linked with a move to Wolves with Angel Correa possibly arriving from Atletico. Really an out-and-out striker comes on now.
Yeah, and we still don't know what's happening with Andre Silva in terms of going to talk to Monaco. It looked like that was a done deal this morning as such, but we're led to believe now that personal terms haven't been agreed. So, as you rightly said, one move triggers so many other, and if they don't go, you're still waiting to see what the latest developments are.
Here comes a double change as well, as Sapreet Singh, the New Zealand international, comes on. And we saw David Alaba introduced for Kingsley Coman there, so that will surely mean that Alphonso Davies goes to left wing and Alaba goes to left back. Singh is a attacking central midfield player. Here he is hunting down the ball. What have you thought to Davis' performance so far, Gary? Only 18 years of age, played here
incredible.
3 years ago for Vancouver Whitecaps.
It's incredible, isn't it, in terms of his ability. I can understand the mindset that could potentially turn him into a modern-day fullback. He's an absolute flying machine, isn't he? And such is the dominance that Bayern Munich have domestically, and more often than not when they play in Europe as well, is that they will have that much possession that he can get in those advanced areas from deep. And if he's doubling up with whoever's in front of him, that looks like a real outlet, a real threat down that left-hand side.
For all his talent, for all his pace, that was definitely a dive. Threw himself to ground there. What an opportunity to try and establish himself as a vital player for Bayern Munich next season. Castillejo looks like he's now playing the number 10 role, perhaps. Muller. How important is that position then in this team, in this Milan side? That guy who's playing behind the front two.
Oh, it's so important. It's the link, isn't it, for everything? You try and get a bit of creativity there.
Out by Singh. Davis, Alaba on the overlap.
That's poor pass. There's a 2v1 situation out wide. AC Milan are struggling to get out and help their fullbacks, and that's only going to get worse as the minutes go by. Bearing in mind this is only their second pre-season game. You can see the tiredness creeping in now.
Yeah, given to Thiago. Castillejo looking rather dejected there, having lost the ball. On by Gretzky to Muller.
When you play that diamond in the midfield, you're looking to overload that area, get control of the game. And they haven't managed to do it. Bayern have been so expansive throughout the game, to be perfectly honest.
Want it back here though, Çalhanoğlu. Barini's the runner through the middle. Piontek flicks it out wide to Catrone. Barini's there, out jumped by Pavard. Muller. Davis, Alaba, those two very good friends off the pitch in the Bayern dressing room. Well, David Alaba's arguably just lost his best friend at the club in Franck Ribéry. They're regularly causing trouble at Zebener Strasse, Bayern's training ground in Munich. Pavard. Coming back, but could only find Piglia.
Be easier to replace Franck Ribéry, there's no doubt about that. 12 seasons at Bayern, 9 titles, 6 cups, Champions League, World Club, all won, serial winner.
Unbelievable list of honours. It's really not working for Castillejo in that position now, although Zula has just gifted Catrone with a chance, and Milan should be level. Good save from Sven Ulreich, but the Milan substitute with a wonderful opportunity for 1-1.
Brilliant goalkeeping, you have to say. Made himself big. As is the modern-day goalkeeper now. They're so good making saves with their feet as such. They make themselves so big. But you have to say, he never looked convincing, did he, going in 1v1? He never looked like he was running away from the defender.
Well played by Singh. Cut out by the substitute, Halijevic. Catrone really should have buried that though. And that was a chance for a Milan side who haven't fashioned much in the second half, if truth be told. Bayern should be nearer ready in terms of their fitness and condition, because not only do they have the German Super Cup on the horizon against Borussia Dortmund, they also have the first round of the German Cup, which bizarrely in Germany is before the first week of the league season. Biglia, Marini. Trent does establish possession. That chance again here, Zulu with the error, Catrone was in.
He never felt as if he completely got it out of his feet. It was on top of the strike. But that's brilliant goalkeeping. Doesn't commit, doesn't go to ground early. Backs himself to save after the strike and does it brilliantly with his left foot.
Well, Sven Ulreich showing why he was called up by Germany, even though he's not even first choice at Bayern. Called up in June after a thumb injury to the Arsenal goalkeeper Bernd Leno. He was basically Bayern's #1 the season before that because of an injury to Manuel Neuer. Conte didn't mean that pass, but he's found Barini. Tieho retrieves. Çalhanoğlu. Calabria.
Brilliant defending. We talk about Davies learning the skills. Look at Alaba there. Stays on his feet, reads the situation, works his feet really well.
Calabria. Castillejo. Again. Piontek and Catrone are both under this, but Ulreich very commanding in his goal.
Great goalkeeping, early shout. That's what you want from your goalkeeper. It's so much easier. Just looking at this AC Milan team. Obviously, as you said earlier, finished 5th, 22 points behind the champions Juventus. And I know there's still a lot of business to be done in the transfer market to strengthen the squads, but in terms of what Juve have done and the players that they've signed and brought in, you can only see that gap getting bigger.
Maljevic, Zula, Pavard. Lovely little interchange. Pavard can't quite skip away from his man Conte. Doesn't really happen for young Fita up either at the midway point in the second half. Brought into the starting 11 late when Lewandowski was actually named in the team. We presume that it was an injury problem for Lewandowski. Referee just clocking up the fouls by Thiago.
We talked about it earlier in terms of Barini, just felt that contact, didn't really want to be receiving the ball that deep in midfield with his back to play, felt that contact and just drew the foul.
They have it back here with Davis, shut down by Biglia doing that repair work in front of the back four.
We've seen 3 or 4 of that now, loose passes by the Milan team. Fatigue is definitely setting in. That's when that mental strength needs to kick in now.
Swept out to Pavard. Zula. Gary rightly mentioned Pavard, of course, was France's right back in their 2018 World Cup triumph. Goretzka, Muller goes early with it in towards Arp.
It's a good run. Just needed that cross to be a little bit flatter.
Donnarumma. Don't look entirely comfortable playing out from those tight areas inside their own penalty area. Thiago. Chelsea did have, Milan did have Bakayoko on loan from Chelsea last season. It was an eventful spell for the midfield player who largely impressed. Thiago.
Brilliant play.
Oh, well, what a turn. And what a ball. Old-fashioned a chance here out of nothing. Muller tried to swing it in towards Art. But Thiago doing what Thiago does.
Brilliant play by him. Trying to close him down. Just takes it on the outside of his right to take you out of the game. Ball initially goes into Muller. We're just seeing that Art chance again there. Flatter delivery. He's across the front of the centre half and might have had an opportunity.
Muller down. Hazard. Muller. Goretzka, who got the goal. Alaba. Great ball in towards Muller. And he couldn't keep the header down. Good chance for 2-0 Bayern.
Again, coming from too much time and space in those wide areas. Bayern Munich's fullbacks just getting comfortable possession. And he just floats a lovely ball in there. You have to say the defender, Conte, does enough. Just narrows up to his centre halves and takes Muller under the ball, doesn't allow him to jump and head to target.
9 goals for Thomas Muller last season. He isn't really as prolific as he was, say, 3 years ago, prior to Euro 2016, actually, I'd say. But he's more the provider now. 16 assists with his 9 goals. But he was sort of a 20-goal a season kind of guy, even from his role.
9 a season seems low for him. I'm sure he's capable of more, but dare I ask, how many of those 16 assists were finished by the main man?
Most of them, I'd imagine.
Exactly.
Yeah. Alaba. We won't be seeing Lewandowski today. He was watching Leon Goretzka score the opening goal from inside the tunnel. Davis. Nice sit down for Muller. It's the right thing to do, probably, from Conte.
Thiago looking to get on that ball at every opportunity, isn't he?
It's moved out to the far side away from him, but Goretzka drops in this time and sweeps it out to Pavard. Too early that from Muller, although Pavard will continue his efforts here. Donnarumma. Through the legs of Davis, that wasn't bad at all. Totally done by Calabria. Returning, can't bring it under his spell. I'm not entirely sure that Donnarumma looks especially comfortable with the ball at his feet. He seems to take one too many touches at the moment.
And the passes seem to be lofted one as opposed to driven ones. I mean, we're used to seeing some of the best goalkeepers in the world in the Premier League doing it. There's no doubt about that in terms of Alisson, Ederson. They pass the ball like a playmaker. So, but listen, it is the modern way of playing from the goalkeeper now. He's so young, but seems like he's been around for years, isn't he? I know, like, he made his debut at 16, but which is an incredible age to make your debut for a goalkeeper for an iconic club like AC Milan. And you hope he's more settled now, because there was a period there where he was falling out with the home fans, wasn't signing his contract. And the last thing you want to see is your fans turning to go your homegrown players, but hopefully now we'll have a more positive season this year.
They're only 20. Gianluigi Donnarumma. Alaba on the overlap, no one there on the penalty spot, and Conte can bring it away comfortably.
Look good, Conte. I've enjoyed it. And certainly when you play 15 games towards the end of last season, it enables you then to get a proper rest in the off-season and come back very strong.
Piontek. Too much on that for Cutrone. And Ulreich has spilled that, and it will go behind for a corner to AC Milan with 15 minutes to play.
Just looking at Cutrone there. The guy is making his mark in the Italian national team, and yet a club like Wolves just shows you the financial muscle of the Premier League can take someone from AC Milan. Potentially, sorry.
Cutrone's in the middle, along with Piontek and Gabi as well. Pavard, Castillejo, Cutrone. Alaba breathing down his neck. Seen Cutrone and Piontek in action here up front for Milan. Çalhanoğlu driven in, and Ulreich's done enough.
He's furious with himself though. I know it was dipping, but if you're going to clear it and not look to catch it, you cannot put it back in amongst your penalty spot.
Yeah, he's fortunate someone else wasn't there. Çalhanoğlu, 5 in the box. Comfortably headed away.
Pavard's been so dominant in them situations.
Castillejo. I don't actually know how tall Pavard is. He doesn't look the tallest.
Well, he doesn't next to Sewell, that's for certain. At 6'5", not many do. But more often than not, it's timing. It's about attacking the ball. And as a fullback, he narrows up brilliantly anyway. I think that's a really good signing by Munich. No surprise, they are clever in terms of how they conduct their transfer business.
Well, for £31 million, that looks really good in this market, doesn't it? I mean, you're seeing centre-backs go for silly money right now. Foul on Barini, free kick AC Milan. You can see the 7 badge on their shirts there, a reminder. They are one of the most successful clubs in European Cup Champions League history.
They are a shadow of their former selves, and I take no pleasure in saying that because I can remember those great AC Milan teams growing up, and my idols, Baresi at the back, Costa Curta, Maldini, where they would go seasons where they wouldn't even concede double figures in goals.
I definitely think Çalhanoğlu is shooting. Scored a goal from a free kick for this kind of range. He was at Milan, although the short run up, and it's seen him clip into the area. Really thought he was going to try and belt that at Ulreich and swerve it in front of him. But he would have had more joy than that. Here's Singh. Pavard. Singh, lovely bit of skill to nip away from his man, and it's suddenly opened up the pitch for Bayern here. Can he make the right choice? Goretzka.
Oh, the pass has to come to Müller. Brilliant play by Singh. He's been impressive, you know, really has. I've enjoyed watching him play.
Alaba, he was swerving, but didn't at any point have Donnarumma to contend. It may have been Davis, in fact, who lined up that effort. Meanwhile, change now, and Angelo Stieler, the defensive midfield player, is coming on for Thomas Müller. Hands over the captain's armband. A great reception. Many of these Bayern fans would have been watching him on TV from afar for years, and they finally get to see him here in Kansas City. So Angelo Stieler, a bit more defensive-minded. Excellent pass through the ball from Munich, the Germany youth international.
The International Champions Cup this summer's been brilliant in terms of the young players we're seeing all around Europe. Listen, you've got to be a special player to be at these clubs at that age.
Stieler's won it, sure enough. Nearly 18,500 in attendance today at Children's Mercy Park. Back by Thiago.
You asked the question, what does Thiago give you when he comes on? Control of the game. And an example there, just blocking things up. When it looks like AC Milan might break, he's covering round, making it difficult.
Not entirely happy here, Piontek. I actually think it is an underrated element of Thiago's game, his ability to turn over possession. Thoughts on that challenge from Piontek?
Well, as soon as you turn and stamp down as he has done there, and that's the type of tackle that referees are trying to stamp out of the game.
All right. Pass finds a teammate. Alaba on the move. And Davis is behind Calabria. Goretzka. Pavard, great vision. Arp's in the middle, still fighting for it, and he scored. Great moment here for Fiete Arp, the youngster signed from Hamburg.
Well, they're looking to see whether or not he's offside. Has the decision been made? Referee has overruled it.
Well, I think there were a couple of appeals there, maybe offside, maybe handball. Yeah, well, it does strike the arm, and the new rule really that comes in this season would mean that's definitely not a goal. Anything with the hands involved in the lead up to a goal, it doesn't count. And he didn't really celebrate, Gary. He just sensed, I think, perhaps it wasn't going to go his way.
You'd love him to get a goal just to build that confidence, wouldn't you? Because he put a real shift. He hasn't stopped closing down. But 2 or 3 crosses has just been a touch too high or just below him, and he hasn't been able to get on it, and he's just been a nearly man this evening. But he's young, he'll have plenty of opportunities yet.
By the way, tomorrow in the International Champions Cup, Juventus against Inter. In China, the Derby d'Italia.
Antonio Conte, yeah. Antonio Conte brought to Inter Milan to close that gap to Juve. They'll believe that he can do that.
Lots of subplots to that one. Here is Thiago. Goretzka. Alaba looking for an option in the middle. Stieler is available. Alaba. Stieler leaves it for Goretzka. Thiago's been ridiculous since he came on. Singh. That was loose. Stieler gets it back. Davis quick enough to shield it from Calabria.
so well, Bayern. Closing down AC Milan, forcing those risky balls into midfield, and they've got players in to collect it and start from there. They just encourage the goalkeeper to throw it out. That's the trigger then. First man closed down, midfield unit behind, and the defence on that halfway line. Difficult to play through. And they do it with real energy.
Well, sticking for Catrone, who hasn't had much choice since he came on, had that one-on-one opportunity that was saved by Allreich. Actually, in truth, I'm really struggling to think of great chances that Bayern have fashioned in this second half. Davis takes on Calabria. Alaba sets himself. Thiago. Pavard. It's deep. Beats up on the turn. Singh slices it. And you can see the young players, when they do get an opportunity, just slightly tense up on inside the penalty area when it opens up for them with time.
You can see the glory, can't they?
Yeah.
That's the difference. To play in those advanced areas for a club like Bayern Munich, you've got to be cool, calm, collected in those situations. You've got to be ruthless.
So, exchange of passes with Thiago and Stieler. Thiago again. Pace on that pass. Alaba, Stieler.
Whereas Alaba on the left-hand side of Pavard here in the right. There's so much time.
Thiago, superb footwork.
Oh.
And he nearly slipped it into Arp.
Just a yard short, again Arp. Great play by Thiago again. You can just see, just looking for that slide. Can he get there? The ball just runs away from him.
Piontek. Çalhanoğlu. Six meetings with Bayern in the previous decade for AC Milan in the Champions League. They won 4, drew 2, lost none. But a lot's changed since then for the Rossoneri. Haven't competed in the Champions League now for this will be their 6th season, and that's actually, I couldn't quite believe it when I checked that.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've read a club statement that they issued this summer. AC Milan remain committed to restoring the club to its rightful place at the top of European football. Well, I'm not convinced by that.
Easier said than done. They've had their financial issues, as you were alluding to, taken over eventually by the US hedge fund Elliott Management. But they were so gung-ho in 2017, spending more than £200 million on players who simply didn't cut it for them. Catrone, Farini. Not entirely sure why he shot there, with better options ahead of him, including Piontek, but he's muscled out of it by Bayern defenders.
You hope that Maldini and Boban, that other great player from that era, who is now technical director at the club, you hope that there'll now be some consistency in what they're trying to achieve. 6 head coaches since 2014, since Allegri left. I mean, how can you hope to get any consistency about that when you're that such turnover?
Thiago. From a Milan point of view, they didn't get the big name coaches floating around this summer in Italian football. Sarri and Conte on the move. Singh pings it. Davis. Alaba. Thought about it, Goretzka, didn't shoot. Thiago's seen something, dearie me, what a pass that is. 2-0 Bayern, superbly taken. And David Alaba's in, although maybe the offside flag has gone up. Bayern supporters are celebrating.
Well, when he receives it, he looks offside. It's whether or not the timing of the pass, but it's a beautifully weighted pass.
Well taken by David Alaba. 3 goals, assists, 3 goals for him last season in all competitions. And it is the right call. But what a ball, regardless, from Thiago.
He's not even looking in that direction. He's just closed his foot at the last moment, give the eyes pass.
And that was a very Barcelona-type pass for me. The kind of ball that Xavi and Iniesta would dink over the top.
No, absolutely. But even that stat there you're saying, 3 goals for Alaba, that's not enough for a player of his quality.
A couple of changes here. Brescianini is on and Munich is on as well. So Brescianini is a defensive midfield player. He can also do a job at centre-back. He actually started their previous friendly. And Antonio Munich, the Croatian who was signed in January of last year, as the central midfielder, is on. Zula. Pavard. 30 seconds of the game remaining. Sing fouls. Not a classic, this one, Gary. This was just about getting a touch more match fit from a Bayern point of view, I suppose.
Yeah, and for AC Milan as well, in terms of playing at this quality opposition. That have been worked harder, certainly than they were in their first game. And they'll hope that this will add to their fitness. Still a lot of work to be done with a new manager, as is the case. They've got to learn it.
Well, one goal has decided this one, and it came with the final touch of the first half from that man, Leon Goretzka, who ran brilliantly into the penalty area to pick up a fine, threaded through ball from Joshua Kimmich to rifle the ball past Gianluigi Donnarumma. Not that AC Milan didn't create chances. Patrick Cutrone guilty of missing a wonderful opportunity, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Well saved by Sven Ulreich.